File 002, Atlantis, the lost city that vanished. Right now, we're opening up a completely classified anomaly. So prepare yourselves, because the file we're unlocking in today's explainer, it challenges absolutely everything we think we know about human history. What if an entire world could vanish in a single night? I really want you to think about that for a second. An entire thriving metropolis, just gone. It disappeared completely from the face of the earth, left behind no ruins, not a single survivor to tell the tale. Only a legend. And that enduring mystery is exactly what we're investigating tonight, in File 002. Section 1, The Golden Kingdom, establishing the subject profile. Okay, let's dive right in. Where does a legend like this actually begin? Well, over 2,000 years ago, the ancient Greek philosopher Plato documented a kingdom positioned just beyond the Pillars of Hercules, which is what we know today as the Strait of Gibraltar. And here's the thing. He wasn't just describing some vague myth. He described a very specific, tangible place. This positioned Atlantis impossibly far out, totally isolated at the very edge of the known ancient world. It was a civilization placed perfectly to become wealthy, powerful, and honestly beautiful beyond imagination. And this brilliantly illustrates the sheer scale of what was actually lost. Let's look at their breathtaking profile for a moment. The engineering of Atlantis astonishingly outpaced the rest of the ancient world. I mean, they didn't just build a city, they terraformed an entire island long before we even had a word for it. We're talking about enormous circular rings of land and water, intricately connected by bridges. Just picture it, crystal blue canals weaving between immense marble structures, leading right into these bustling harbors packed with ships from distant lands. And sitting right at the center of it all were these glittering gold temples. They possessed a level of knowledge, architecture, and absolute mastery of their environment that would make modern urban planners jealous. Section 2. The sudden disappearance. The incident report. But, as we know, every golden age eventually hits a wall. Let's track this timeline and see how it builds into an absolute catastrophe. At dawn, Atlantis was a thriving, completely unaware metropolis. People were just going about their daily lives, surrounded by unparalleled wealth. But as the day progressed, violent earthquakes began to strike. The ground itself literally tore apart. And then by nightfall, catastrophic floods roared in. In the span of just a single day and a single night, the entire civilization vanished beneath the sea. Just imagine an apex society like a New York or a Tokyo, completely wiped off the map before the sun even came back up.
Section 3. Beneath the Atlantic. Lead 01.
So, where did it go? Could an entire civilization really be lying in darkness? It's a haunting question, isn't it? The first lead in our investigation takes us toward the dark, unexplored depths of the ocean that actually shares its name, the Atlantic. The Atlantic Ocean is one of Earth's least explored places, with literal miles of water hiding the ocean floor. And what keeps this lead so incredibly active is that every few years, unusual underwater formations are detected. We're talking perfect lines, stone-like structures, and shapes that just appear entirely too organized to be naturally occurring. A lot of researchers, including folks who investigate anomalies like the Bermuda Triangle, often point to these underwater ruins as proof that advanced ancient technology and a forgotten civilization are resting right under our noses. It continually sparks rumors that Atlantis is not completely forgotten.
Section 4. Power of Lost Technology. Lead 02.
Now, this brings us to a second, and frankly, a much more unsettling theory. What if the destruction of Atlantis wasn't just a random natural disaster? Ancient stories describe the Atlanteans as being centuries, maybe thousands of years ahead of their time in engineering and astronomy. But some legends go even further than that. They suggest this civilization mastered forms of energy completely unknown to us today. There are these wild accounts of enormous crystal devices capable of storing or directing incredible amounts of energy. We actually see echoes of this idea even in modern mysteries, where theorists suggest ancient, highly advanced technology might still be active deep underwater, causing massive magnetic anomalies. Which really makes you wonder, what if Atlantis wasn't destroyed because it was weak, but because it had become too powerful? Did they somehow trigger their own cataclysm? Section 5. Survivors and Ancient Echoes. Lead 03. If an event of that magnitude actually occurred, surely there'd be some trace left behind. So the crucial point here is looking at the escaping echoes. Think about it. If a small group of survivors managed to make it out before that final wave hit,
they absolutely would have carried their incredible knowledge with them. Supporters of this theory point to the sudden, unexplainable explosion of remarkable achievements in distant ancient cultures. Suddenly, out of nowhere, we see massive stone monuments being erected. We see highly advanced construction techniques popping up globally. We even see shared legends of a great flood across entirely disconnected cultures. Are the brilliant achievements of these distant ancient cultures simply human ingenuity, or are they actually the echoes of this disappeared kingdom?
Section 6. Hidden in plain sight. Lead 04. Okay, but what if we've been looking in the completely wrong place this entire time? Check out this comparison. For centuries, the traditional theory has focused entirely beneath the Atlantic Ocean, deep, unexplored waters relying on unconfirmed stone anomalies. But let's contrast that with the Rishat structure, famously known as the Eye of the Sahara. When you view this from above, this massive circular desert formation perfectly mirrors Plato's highly specific description of Atlantis. The enormous concentric rings of land and water that define the Golden City, they match the geological rings of the Sahara structure with terrifying accuracy.
Could the city have existed there long before the desert replaced an ancient landscape? Because the Sahara wasn't always a desert, you know? Is this breathtaking geological resemblance just a mere coincidence? Or have the ruins of the greatest lost city been staring at us from the sand all along, completely hidden in plain sight?
Section 7. The search continues. An open case. For centuries, explorers, historians, treasure hunters, and dreamers have obsessively chased this mystery. They've dedicated their entire lives, and sometimes even lost their lives, trying to finally close this case. The search has been remarkably exhaustive. Expeditions have scoured the Mediterranean, mapped the Atlantic, combed the Caribbean, and even scanned beneath the solid ice of Antarctica. Every single generation believes that they are the ones who finally have the technology, the insight, and the drive to uncover the truth. And yet, despite all of that endless searching, the city continues to stay hidden. It's almost as though it simply doesn't wish to be found. It remains forgotten by everyone, except the sea. Perhaps it was the greatest civilization ever built. Perhaps it was only a warning told thousands of years ago. Or perhaps, somewhere beneath endless darkness, its silent streets still wait. Will its silent streets remain untouched, or will someone finally open the final file? That's what we really have to ask ourselves today. Keep seeking the truth, and we'll see you in the next explainer.